Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're tackling something that I think is really relevant to, well, all of us.
Yeah.
Especially in this world that seems to constantly be vying for our attention.
Right.
Deep work.
Ah.
It's that state of being totally immersed in what you're doing, where you kind of forget about everything else and you just produce your best work.
Yeah.
It feels harder and harder to achieve these days.
It does.
But the benefits, as we'll see, are just immense.
It's funny because while deep work feels very of the moment,
Right.
the need to shut out distractions and really focus.
Yeah.
That's always been essential for producing groundbreaking work.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we are going to be exploring Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World.
Great book.
I have to say, just reading through the excerpts that you sent me, it's already got me thinking differently about how I structure my day.
What really hooked me right away was this anecdote about Carl Jung.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine this renowned psychiatrist, the man who delved into the depths of the human psyche,
Right.
building a stone tower in the woods, completely isolated, just to facilitate his deep work.
Okay. That's a serious commitment.
Right.
It makes my little do not disturb sign feel a bit inadequate.
Yeah.
But it does highlight how crucial deep work is.
Absolutely.
Even for someone of Jung's intellectual caliber.
Of course.
It makes you wonder, what could he have achieved without that dedicated space?
Right. And that brings us to Newport's definition of deep work, which actually goes beyond simply focusing.
Okay.
He defines it as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit.
So not just zoning out, but actively pushing your mental limits?
Exactly.
Sounds intense.
It is.
But the payoff, as Newport argues, is huge.
Huge.
These deep work efforts create new value. They improve your skills, and they're hard to replicate.
Yeah.
It's about producing work that truly stands out in a world where anyone can tweet or send an email.
Exactly. And that's where the contrast with shallow work comes in.
Okay.
Think about all the time we spend on logistical-style tasks, often while multitasking,
Right.
checking emails, attending meetings, scrolling through social media. These efforts, while necessary, tend to be easy to replicate.
Yeah.
And they don't create as much new value.
It's like the difference between crafting a bespoke suit
Okay.
and mass-producing T-shirts.
I like that.
One requires focused attention and skill, resulting in a unique and valuable product.
Yeah.
The other can be done by almost anyone, and the result is, well, pretty generic, Newport uses some great examples to illustrate this point.
He goes.
Think about Nate Silver, the statistician and election forecaster.
Oh, yeah.
His ability to analyze complex data and extract valuable insights requires intense concentration. It's deep work that has made him a leading voice in his field.
For sure.
And what about David Heinemeier Hansson?
Yeah. The creator of Ruby on Rails. That's a wildly popular web development framework used by millions.
Yeah.
The level of focus and problem solving needed to create something like that is immense.
Absolutely.
It makes you realize how much deep work underpins the technology that we use every day.
It really does.
These are just a couple of examples.
Sure.
But they point to a larger trend in our economy. We're increasingly valuing high-skilled workers and what Newport calls superstars, those who can consistently produce at an elite level.
Right.
And deep work is their secret weapon.
It is.
So it's not just about personal satisfaction or a sense of accomplishment. It's about thriving in a world where deep work is becoming a key differentiator.
Right.
But here's the thing. While it's becoming increasingly valuable, deep work is also becoming increasingly rare.
It is.
Why is that?
Good question.
What's pushing us towards shallow work?
Well, Newport points to several factors.
Okay.
And one that immediately comes to mind is the rise of open office plans. Oh, yeah.
Remember that stat about Facebook building the largest open floor plan in the world?
Yes.
Thousands of workers in one giant shared space.
Wow.
It sounds like a recipe for distraction.
Yeah, it's almost comical how much research shows that open offices are detrimental to concentration.
I know.
Yet they persist.
They do.
Often justified with vague notions of serendipity and collaboration.
Yeah.
But as we'll see later, there are much smarter ways to foster collaboration without sacrificing deep work.
Absolutely.
Another culprit is the constant pressure on content producers and really all of us to maintain a constant social media presence.
Right.
This expectation to be always on, constantly churning out content or responding to messages.
Yeah.
This is a major obstacle to deep work.
It is.
It's like we've become addicted to the shallow end of the pool, constantly dipping our toes in, never really diving into the depths where the real treasures lie.
Yeah.
And this feeds into what Newport calls the principle of least resistance.
Interesting concept.
Which is a fascinating concept.
In a nutshell, it means that in the absence of clear metrics for productivity, we tend to gravitate towards the easiest, most visible tasks.
Yeah.
Even if they're not the most valuable.
Right.
Think about the obsession with email and meetings.
Oh, yeah.
It feels productive to be constantly responding and attending. But are we actually moving the needle?
It's the illusion of busyness versus the reality of impact.
Exactly.
And it's a trap that's easy to fall into.
Oh, for sure.
Newport highlights the example of Alyssa Rubin,
a
respected New York Times reporter, who was expected to tweet regularly.
Wow.
Even though her real value lies in her in-depth reporting.
Right.
It's like expecting a master chef to spend all their time posting food photos on Instagram instead of creating culinary masterpieces in the kitchen.
Exactly.
And this is where things start to get really interesting. If we step back and look at the bigger picture, it becomes clear that this constant state of shallowness is not only hindering our productivity, but it's also impacting our well-being and our sense of fulfillment.
Absolutely.
So we've established that deep work is valuable and becoming more and more rare in our distraction-filled world. But here's the question that's been swirling in my mind. Why should we even strive for deep work in the first place?
Right.
What makes it so meaningful?
That's where Newport's argument takes a fascinating turn. He delves into the connection between deep work and craftsmanship. Drawing on examples like Rick Furr.
I remember that.
A master swordsman.
Yeah, A Story of Rick Furr. Spending his days meticulously crafting swords using ancient techniques. It's incredibly demanding work.
It is.
Requiring intense concentration and precision. But you can feel the passion he has for his craft.
Exactly. And that's the point that Newport drives home. Furr talks about the challenge, the mastery, the tangible creation of something beautiful and valuable. And it's this sense of craftsmanship, this dedication to honing one's skills. That brings a deep sense of satisfaction and meaning to the work.
So it's not just about the outcome.
No.
But the mindset we bring to our work. Even in knowledge work, which can often feel less tangible than swordsmithing, we can still cultivate that same sense of craftsmanship.
Absolutely. Think about a programmer who takes pride in writing elegant, efficient code. Or a writer who meticulously crafts each sentence for clarity and impact. They're not just churning out code or words. They're approaching their work as a craft. Which brings a sense of depth and meaning to their efforts.
And that sense of craftsmanship ties in beautifully with the concept of flow.
Yes.
That state of complete absorption in an activity where you lose track of time and feel a deep sense of satisfaction.
It's that feeling of being in the zone, completely engrossed in what you're doing. And Newport argues that deep work is a key pathway to achieving flow. When you eliminate distractions and you focus intensely on a challenging task, you create the conditions for flow to emerge.
I know from personal experience, those flow states are not only incredibly productive, but they're also incredibly rewarding. It's like our brains are wired to reward us for engaging in deep, focused work.
Yes, there's actually neurological evidence to support that.
Oh, wow.
Studies have shown that flow states are associated with increased activity in the brain's reward centers.
Really?
Leading to feelings of pleasure and satisfaction.
It's fascinating how our brains are wired to support depth work.
It is.
And it's not just about feeling good, right? Flow also enhances our cognitive abilities.
It does.
Leading to increased creativity and problem-solving skills.
That.
So we're talking about a positive feedback loop here. The more you engage in deep work, the better you become at it. And the more rewarding it becomes.
Exactly.
But let's get real for a moment.
Okay.
Building a deep work habit in our distraction-filled world is a challenge.
It is.
So where do we even begin?
Well, that's where Newport gets really practical.
Okay.
He provides a roadmap.
All right.
Outlining various strategies and philosophies for integrating deep work into our lives. He starts by introducing 4 philosophies of deep work scheduling.
Okay.
Monastic bimodal, rhythmic, and journalistic.
Okay, let's break those down.
Okay.
The monastic approach, as I understand it, involves eliminating all distractions and dedicating large blocks of time to deep work.
Right.
Think of writers who retreat to secluded cabins to work on their manuscripts.
Exactly. A modern example of this would be Neil Stephenson,
Oh, yeah.
the science fiction author. He's known for disconnecting entirely from the online world
Wow.
to focus on his writing.
The bimodal approach seems a bit more well-balanced. It involves alternating between periods of intense, deep work
Right.
and periods of more shallow, collaborative work.
It's about finding a rhythm that works for you.
Okay.
You might set aside certain days or weeks for deep work while remaining more accessible during other times.
Okay.
Newport actually uses this approach himself,
I see.
alternating between periods of intense writing
Yeah.
and periods of teaching and engaging with students.
That makes sense. And then there's the rhythmic approach,
Right.
which seems more about consistency and routine. It's about establishing a regular daily routine that incorporates deep work.
Think of someone who blocks off the first 2 hours of each morning for deep work
Okay.
before transitioning to other tasks.
Right.
The key here is building a habit, making it a non-negotiable part of your day.
And finally, we have the journalistic approach.
Yes,
This one intrigues me because it seems the most flexible.
it is.
It's about fitting in deep work sessions
Right.
whenever you find free time in your schedule.
Think of someone who takes advantage of a canceled meeting or a quiet evening to dive into a demanding task.
Okay.
This approach requires flexibility
Right.
and the ability to switch into deep work mode quickly.
So there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's
Right.
about finding the philosophy that best fits your personality, work style, and circumstances.
Right.
But regardless of which philosophy resonates with you,
Yeah,
there are specific tactics Newport recommends for cultivating deep work
there are.
that I found really helpful.
I'm with you there.
One that stood out to me was the idea of grand gestures.
Oh, yeah?
It's about creating a dramatic change in your environment or routine
Uh-huh.
to signal to your mind that it's time for deep work.
Exactly like J.K. Rowling checking into a luxury hotel
Yes.
to finish writing the final Harry Potter book.
It's about creating a ritual, setting the stage for deep concentration.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be that extravagant.
Right.
It could be as simple as creating a dedicated workspace, putting on noise-canceling headphones,
Yeah.
or even lighting a specific candle
Right.
to signal to your brain that it's time to focus.
Another tactic that resonated with me was the hub and spoke model of collaboration.
Interesting.
This recognizes the value of both individual deep work and collaborative brainstorming.
You have your spoke, a space for solitary deep work,
Okay.
while also engaging in hubs or collaborative sessions where you share ideas and get feedback.
Right.
It's about striking a balance,
Yeah.
ensuring that collaboration doesn't come at the expense of deep work.
Newport also adapts the 4 disciplines of execution framework for individuals,
Oh, yeah?
which I found surprisingly useful.
It's a great framework.
He emphasizes the importance of focusing on a small number of wildly important goals and tracking your progress using lead measures.
Right.
So for deep work, this could look like setting a goal of writing a certain number of words each week,
Okay.
or spending a specific number of hours in deep work sessions.
It's about setting clear targets,
Right.
being intentional with your time, and holding yourself accountable for making progress.
And then there are tactics for incorporating deep work into our daily lives,
Yeah.
like shutdown rituals and productive meditation.
Shutdown rituals are essential
Oh,
for preventing that feeling of constantly being on.
right.
They involve reviewing your tasks and commitments at the end of the workday,
Okay.
creating a plan for completion, and mentally shutting down work-related thoughts
Yeah.
to allow for a true break.
I love the idea of productive meditation.
It's a good one.
It's about using those periods of downtime, like walking or showering, to ponder a specific problem or challenge.
It's a way to engage your subconscious mind.
Right.
And it can often lead to unexpected breakthroughs.
Yeah.
It's amazing how often the solution to a problem pops into your head
Right.
when you're not actively trying to solve it.
So we've got philosophies for scheduling deep work, tactics for creating the right environment, and strategies for incorporating it into our everyday lives. But there's another crucial aspect to all of this, right?
There is.
Minimizing the shallow work.
Yes.
That's constantly vying for our attention.
Absolutely.
Taming shallow work is essential,
It is.
if we want to create the space for consistent, deep work.
Right.
And Newport offers some pretty compelling strategies for doing just that. So we've talked about the power of deep work and even some strategies for incorporating it into our lives. But let's be honest.
Okay.
One of the biggest obstacles we face in our quest for deep work is that constant lure of shallow work.
It is.
Especially the siren song of social media.
Oh, yeah.
It's everywhere, and it's designed to keep us hooked.
It's true.
And Newport doesn't shy away from this. In fact, he offers a pretty radical solution.
What's that?
Quitting social media. He actually suggests a 30-day social media fast.
Wow.
Completely disconnecting from those platforms to break free from their addictive grips.
Yeah. It sounds daunting, but I can see the appeal.
I can too.
Imagine a month without endless scrolling, without comparing yourself to others,
Yeah.
without feeling obligated to post or comment.
Right.
Just pure, uninterrupted space to focus on what truly matters to you.
It's about hitting the reset button on your relationship with social media.
I like that.
And I think the analogy Newport uses is brilliant.
Okay.
He compares it to the minimalist Ryan Nicodemus, who packed up all of his belongings as if he were moving. Just to reevaluate what was truly essential.
Okay.
By temporarily removing everything, he was able to see more clearly what he truly valued and needed.
That's a powerful image.
It is.
It makes you realize how much we accumulate both physically and digitally without even realizing it.
We do.
So much of it just clutters our lives and distracts us from what's important.
It's true.
And Newport argues that a social media fast can have a similar effect.
Okay.
By removing these platforms from your life for a month.
You can step back and assess their true impact on your well-being and productivity.
Right.
Are they adding value to your life, or are they just sucking up your time and energy?
It's a good question to ask.
I think for a lot of us, we're so caught up in the whirlwind of social media
We got it.
that we don't even realize how much it's affecting us.
It's true.
We might tell ourselves it's just a way to stay connected or to unwind,
Yeah.
but are we really being honest with ourselves about how it makes us feel?
One of the points Newport makes is that social media feeds into our desire for validation.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
constantly seeking external approval through likes, comments, and followers.
Right?
And the problem is this external validation is fleeting. It never truly satisfies us.
No.
It just keeps us coming back for more.
Yeah.
Trading valuable time and attention for those little bursts of dopamine.
It's like we're chasing a mirage.
It is.
We think it will bring us happiness, but it always leaves us feeling empty and wanting more.
And in the meantime, we're neglecting the deeper, more meaningful pursuits
Right.
that truly bring us joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
The things that require our full attention, our creativity, our passion, the things that make us feel alive.
So quitting social media, even temporarily, can be a way to break free from that cycle
It can.
and reclaim control of our time and attention.
Absolutely.
It's about shifting our focus from external validation to internal satisfaction.
I like that.
From chasing likes to pursuing goals that truly matter to us.
It's a good shift.
It's a powerful question, and it leads us to a thought-provoking idea that Newport poses towards the end of the book.
What's that?
Imagine if you could reclaim even a small portion of the time you currently spend on shallow work each week.
Yeah?
What could you accomplish with that newfound depth?
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
It is.
Think about it. Just an hour a day, 5 days a week. That's 5 extra hours for deep work.
Wow.
What could you do with 5 extra hours of focused, uninterrupted time?
Could you finally write that book you've always dreamed of?
Yeah.
Launch that side business, master a new skill?
It's amazing.
The possibilities are endless when you reclaim the time and attention that's currently being squandered on shallow pursuits.
Look, building a deep work practice is not easy.
It's time.
It requires effort, discipline,
Yeah.
and a willingness to push back against the cultural currents that encourage distraction.
Right.
But as we've seen throughout this deep dive, the rewards are well worth the effort.
Increased productivity, a sense of mastery, a more fulfilling life.
Yeah.
These are the fruits of a life lived deeply.
They are.
And in a world that's increasingly fragmented and attention-starved, the ability to focus deeply is becoming a superpower.
It is.
It's a skill that will set you apart, empower you to achieve extraordinary things, and ultimately lead you to a life of greater purpose and meaning.
Absolutely.
So embrace the power of deep work. Choose to reclaim control of your time and attention.
Good advice.
The world is full of distractions.
It is.
But by cultivating depth, you can create a life of meaning, purpose, and lasting impact.
I agree with that.
And remember, you don't have to do it all at once.
Right?
Start small. Identify a few shallow tasks you can eliminate or delegate.
Yeah.
Schedule a block of time for deep work each day. Experiment with the tactics and philosophies we've discussed.
Yeah.
The journey towards deep work is an ongoing one, but each step you take brings you closer to a life of greater focus, productivity, and fulfillment.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep diving deep.